You're listening to Lights Camera Latino, the podcast, hosted by Angel Fabian Rivera. You can follow us on our socials, Lights Camera Latino and Angel Fabian Rivera. Hola mi gente, welcome to Lights Camera Latino, the podcast. This is a place where we dive deep into the captivating world of entertainment with influential Latinos shaping the industry. My name is Angel Fabian Rivera. You can also call me Angel, and I'll be your host. You can find us in our socials as Lights Camera Latino and Angel Fabian Rivera. Today, I am honored to have a great friend, an amazing actor, producer, director, someone who's been in this industry for a lot, and I thank you for saying yes, for being here. We have Tony Guerrero. Tony Guerrero is a versatile Spanish actor born in Mexico. He's been in movies like Pitch Perfect 3, American Made, X-Men First Class. Okay, so we got to talk about that. And he's just been constantly working in the industry also as a voice actor for years here in Atlanta. And I am so grateful to have him here. Tony, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me, Angel. It's a pleasure. I'm all yours.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm here at home, working from home, doing some new projects for 2025, which I will let you know in a minute. And I've been really good, been blessed. I love, and they love me. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I have a roof over my head, and I have food in the refrigerator. So I am beyond grateful. I have good friends too.
Hey, that's the important part of it. Yes, and we gotta be thankful every day for what we have, right? And that's the important part.
Yes, absolutely. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm great. You know, to have you here, and again, yes, we gotta be thankful every day for what we have, and to have even food, right? That's important thing that we don't talk about. I just want to start by saying it's so interesting how we met. I just wanted to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, it's a story that everybody loves it.
Right? It's a story that everybody knows, and I've known you for a year now. More than a year. It feels like forever. But just like a quick intro, guys. Tony was producing this project last year, right? It was back in August.
Yes.
And days before, 2 days before, I was inside an Uber, and I started talking to this Uber driver about, me being an actor, blah, blah, blah. And then, he's like, oh, let me get your number. I want to follow what you're doing, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And, right, I get off the Uber, and, the day after that, he writes me back, and he's like, hey, this director just was in my car. It was Ernesto, right? And he says oh, this director was in my car, blah, blah. He's looking for a Latino for a project. Here's his number. And I'm like, okay. So I write to him, and I'm like, hey, this guy told me about what you guys are looking for a Latino, blah, blah. And then I remember he sent me everything right away, and I sent him the audition, and he shared it with you. And you guys made the decision. A day after that, I was on set working with you, and I met you there.
Yeah, and it was beautiful because, like I tell everybody, the best things in life have happened to me by blind chance, and since then I really let things come to me, and you're one of those beautiful surprises that came to me last year, and I'm beyond grateful. I gotta tell you that you're not only talented, but you're such a beautiful human being, and that's what it matters to me. The connection that I have with you is beyond your talents. It's just the whole package, the whole human being, and I'm very grateful. And I'm so happy that this guy couldn't make it to my project because you went in and killed it.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. I was so happy, to have not only met you and work with you guys, but created a family.
Yes.
Working with
Yeah.
you was amazing. That's how I met Ernesto as well. Also Lilo was working there. Someone who I knew before that, and it's like it was amazing to create and step into a different family and meet Latinos, working in the film industry, which before that I didn't know that many. And as Latinos, that's the hardest part, right? Like when you're starting in this business, or when you're in this business in general, like creating your family and creating with people who are also like you and can connect with you.
Yeah, yeah, it's very important, the connection, because I know a lot of people that come here, and the first thing they do is hate you. They hate you because you are Latino, because you're on TV, because you're first than them. And I'm like, no, this is not like, why would I be mad of Angel? I want to miss a huge opportunity to have a good friend, And that's a lot of mentality from people that come to another country. They see you, they think I'm better than you, and that's not the right approach. And you never had that approach, so that's why you will fit everywhere you go because of your personality. So yeah, it's sad, but
Yes.
you got it right. Your
Yeah.
kindness, and then you're smart. It's gonna open the doors for you. And to be honest with you, it's really not about how talented you are. Sometimes it's really who you know, and what can you bring to the table in terms of kindness and the vibes and everything. Because it's very important right now to find real people, and you are one of them.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. And thanks to people like you, we can all continue growing and putting a stamp out there. And I really appreciate that. Tell me a little bit about when you moved from Mexico to Atlanta. Like why? Like what was that choice for? Because everybody goes through different experiences. What made you or your family moved to the States, specifically to Atlanta?
That's a great question. The year was 1994. And Mexico was going through a very difficult situation in 1994. My son was really recently born, and I got laid off of my work, and I had to make a decision whether I stay in the Mexico or move to the United States, because at that time, outreach company, it's called Adventures in Mission. So I was hired for a group of missionaries to translate for them for 2 weeks, and that cost me my work, because I was kind of like serving two patrons at the same time. So I went to the United States to collect about $3,000 that they owe me, and I stated I saw a need for a lot of things back then. It was 1996. The Olympics just happened. There was a lot of things going on. It's like you go into a brand new city and everything was happening. There was no TV, there was no radio, there was nothing. So
Wow.
I decided to stay and build it from the ground up. So the majority of the commercials that you see from the 90s are mine. You don't see them anymore, but I came here with $120 in my pocket and a dream. And I got here and I stayed it since then.
Wait, so when you moved here, were you an actor already? Were you thinking about, oh, let me just try this? So what made you start with that? Like,
so good question. So I was a sales manager for a pharmaceutical company, and pretty much sales and acting is kind of like the same thing. It's the same thing. They have the same objective. A salesman, his objective is to sell you something, whether it's a tangible or intangible. Acting is kind of like the same thing. You're selling something. You're selling a story. You're selling a character. You're selling something intangible, but something that you can feel. When you buy a car, you have happiness because you had a tangible vehicle that you can take A, B. But the most difficult thing is to sell insurance, sell a radio, sell an idea. So when I got here, I had to completely morph from what I was doing, apply what I was already had, and apply it into my new direction. It's kind of like life goes in different big movements. For example, when internet came, everybody started switching to the internet. When Bitcoin came, a lot of people started doing the Bitcoin thing. A lot of people said no, a lot of people say yes. So all these movements happened within a period of time when I got here till now. So I've been constantly moving. So that was the thing. And I said, okay, there's no, for example, if you come to a place and there's no Mexican food, what do? You open a Mexican restaurant.
You started out, right?
Yep. And so
Wow.
that's what I did. I wasn't an actor. I always wanted to be an actor. I had some formation, but to
Mhm.
me, sales was the best acting technique ever.
I mean, yes, it's like you said it. It's like when I'd say the hardest thing to do is to sell something to someone. Like whenever you go to the mall, right? Like people run away from those salespeople that have the cologne and the perfume.
Yeah,
You run away from them because they can sell it to you. And it's a hard thing to do as well.
because they ask the wrong questions. I always wanted to tell these people, why you approach me like that? You should approach me in a different way, and I will probably buy. I'm one of those people that if you convince me, I'll
Yeah.
buy stuff from you. I have no problem buying. But sell me. Sometimes people fell in love with the salesman, not the product. And
Exactly, and that's you
so,
gotta be smart about that.
yeah, you have to know. I have the same question. For example, if I want to sell a movie to Angel,
Mhm.
I have to prepare a package so he can say no, right? So there's a lot of moving parts that are equal sales and acting.
Yes. Okay. So before we step into that, because I want to talk about that too, uh, how was the industry, Tony, when you started here? Specifically, like the industry is still growing in Atlanta, right? As we know, but in that time, I must believe that there was not a lot to do, especially for Latinos. So
Correct.
can you tell me a little bit about that?
So when I got here, the only thing that was available, it was an AM radio station. AM. When nobody listened to everybody listened to FM, we have a one AM station. There was the only thing it was. Television back then, it was so difficult to get into because there was no Hispanic. So my product,
Mm.
in other words, my product that I was selling was for nobody. Nobody wanted to have a guy on TV with an accent. So the Hispanic population started growing rapidly, and they started realizing that they needed a face for different things. So they call me up and they say, "Hey, we have this project. Chick-fil-A is doing training videos. Can you do a training? Can you read the teleprompter?" And I said, "Yes, of course." So I started doing a lot of videos, training videos specifically. That's how it started. Training videos, how to clean, how to do this, how to do that for people,
Wow.
because the influx of Hispanics were coming to big companies. And then I was doing radio station. I had a radio show called Tequila Rock. Tequila, there was no rock and roll or rock pop at all in Atlanta. It was only music for uh, like folk music, and I
Okay.
started
Yeah.
there. So it was very difficult, Angel. There was nothing available,
Wow.
and then getting your hands with someone with a camera was just difficult enough. So I found one guy. I said, "Hey, you have a camera?" I said, "Yeah, I have a camera where I shoot weddings." And I said, "Can we do commercials?" And he said, "Yes." So for 10 years, straight up, we were producing about 10 commercials per week for the Hispanic
Wow.
community in 1997. It was a boom. It was an explosion of people coming here. It was crazy,
Wow.
crazy, crazy. Every business needed a commercial. Every restaurant needed a commercial. So
Hmm.
my mind was
Yeah.
in
Constantly
heaven.
moving.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so that's interesting because you found, like, again, you said you were talking about the need, right? When you go to a new place and you see the need and you start doing that, that's what you did, right? You were found in this particular like space where you were like, people are in need of commercials. So you said, let's just go ahead and do it, right? And you started in the production side as well. So can you speak a little bit about, stepping as an actor into the producer hat?
yeah. So you have an idea, right? Like for example, you
Mm,
say, "Oh my God, there's this furniture store, and I wanna talk to the guy." So you talk to the guy and say, "Hey man,
mm,
listen, I have this amazing concept, and I think you can sell a lot of things." And it's like, "Okay, do it." And then you start, "Oh, but who's gonna film? Crap.
mm.
Then who's gonna edit?" And so, in order for you to get the commercial the way you want it, you had to get your hands in the entire process. And I'm talking about the late 90s. There was no video that you can look online and tell
Yeah,
people,
there
tell
was.
you, "Oh,
Yeah.
watch this video." Or if you want to do this, you can do that, like there is now. I'm telling you, YouTube is the university, the new university. But back then, there was no YouTube, there was
There's
no
no
internet,
YouTube.
period. So we had to come up with creative ideas. For example, we record in a camera that has a tape. Then we have to
Mhm.
cut the tape and then cut it with the scissors and kind of
Like
insert,
literally a cut it.
little cut and paste, literally.
Wow.
And it was difficult, and it was magical. It was very expensive, very time consuming. That's why commercials were so expensive back then. So it was also new for everybody, Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, they came here and they say, oh my God, I think I need to open up a restaurant. So they open a restaurant with the only knowledge they have, but they never thought about marketing. So my work was to get there and explain them. And oh my God, it was. But once you get them, what you sell them, what you have, people start buying the product like crazy.
Wow.
So I had to learn. I had to learn. No
yeah,
computer.
yeah. There's nothing. Literally. So you walk so we could run. You know.
Yeah,
Literally.
so I learned them by making mistakes. Now somebody else makes the mistakes for you and say, okay, I did this and it didn't work. Now, para que no hagas el error, or you don't make the same mistakes, do this, do this, do that. Over there, I didn't have a chance. I had to make a lot of mistakes, many mistakes.
Wow. No, yeah, and it was a new thing, right? You were starting out, like you said, you were trying new things that you didn't know, like. There was no social media, so how did you, these commercials would go to TV and radio? That was it?
Yeah, so back then we had two ways, because we didn't even have Univision. We didn't even have, so we have what is called CAMA. CAMA means Cable Atlanta Metropolitan something. So you had to buy a subscription and you had to buy a dish. Once you buy the dish, you can watch the TV. And then we were coming. So you had to have this, you had to buy this. It's like buying a cable. Remember when back in the day, you pay, I mean, you still pay the cable, right? Like Xfinity right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like things like that, the dish and yeah.
Yeah, so back then the dish was huge, 150 channels, all the 9 years. So the commercials needed a platform, the local commercial. So I started doing that. So I did many things, but it was difficult. No social media, nothing. It was very expensive. Crazy,
wow. So yeah, no, and it is also like very important for us to understand that we have everything today. We even have these platforms where they edit the videos for us, so we barely have to move a finger today. But before all this, there were people like you, doing these things, working hard, getting out. Like now we have the easy thing, like we can work from home, right? Everybody can edit a video from home. People can post a video from home. You can do an audition from home. But before all this, you guys had to like literally find out by yourself, be like, how do we do this?
Let me give you an example. The graphics that you can go online and, for example, you can go on CapCut and you can type the graphics and the graphics will come in, come out different ways, left to right, up
like
and
the
down.
transition and all that stuff. Yeah.
In the past, we did not have the luxury. There used to be a program that cost $5,000, that program. And in order for you to have one letter come here and rotate, it will take you have to do it manually. You have to go click, half a second, go here. Then another arrow to point here. Then you're going to flip it. Then you're going to add the shades. Bro, that was incredibly difficult. Have a graphic.
Wow.
Transitions? Are you kidding me? We have to do transitions with a camera. You have to be like, move the camera.
So you have to
back,
do it manually, yeah.
And down like this, because we had, and the cameras were heavy. Yeah. Now the cameras are like this. And in the year 2008, we had the GA5, that looks like a camera but film video. And people were like, I don't want pictures. I want video. I want that whole. What are you doing? No, people were not, and we're very reluctant to new technology. It was awful.
Wow.
Jingle, audio.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Audio. If you want to have a jingle, you have to hire a studio. Digitalization, colorization, actors. No.
There was a lot there. Wow. Now today, you can do everything yourself. You have everything.
Yeah.
There's people who produce, direct, and act in their own stuff because it's easier. It's not easy, but it's easier. That's incredible. Tony, talking about that, like you started acting and producing basically at the same time then, right? Like in the 90s, you discovered acting, then you started producing. How was this, like, what do you think, or what do you believe was your big project that you were like, okay, now I'm a fully realized actor,
Very good. So when I started doing productions, I wanted to give all the people the opportunity to act, because you can't do all of this by yourself. It will be very selfish to think that you act, produce, but you have to have other people to work with you. And I didn't have the luxury. No one wanted to be an actor. So I was having lots of troubles finding people. So I founded this called what is called Talento Latino. My goal was to train people so I can put them in commercials, because at one point I was the only one doing this and people started hating me. People saw one commercial, cars, and then another commercial. So I was burning my image for many, many years because nobody else wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was important to learn all the aspects, but then I lacked of talent. That's another issue that I face, and I'm like, how am I gonna overcome this? Like, I need to find people, and that's how you start growing, and you start thinking, I am nobody without a cameraman. I am nobody without someone to understand. I needed a female, for example, to sell. People not always they wanted an actor, they wanted a good looking girl. So I had to train them and everything. So it was so difficult.
Wow. Can you I know you did something in X-Men, right? In the project of X-Men. Was it First Class?
Oh yes.
Sorry,
you
did something there?
I didn't answer your question.
But I love that. I love that what you're talking about. I just want to, because I saw X-Men and I've never rewatched it, but I know you did something there. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so that was my first project. So when I felt like I belong, like this is what I wanted to do, is when I auditioned for many movies. But X-Men First Class was the first one that I actually got, and my agent was so happy, and I didn't even know anything about X-Men, just to give you an idea. So one day after I get the part, everything is in secrecy. Pinewoods, which is the studios, the shoot back then, X-Men, they're coming from London. They don't tell you anything. They just go there in the very secrecy. They hired me in a limousine. I went there. My first movie, I have no clue how amazing this was. Like, you go to a place that there's nobody around, and then all of a sudden you have a tent with 3 chefs on spot. Wow. You have people to drive you around, and then you see your actors in person: Jennifer Lawrence, Kevin Bacon.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, that was for me like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want. So we did this whole scene, and at the end of the movie, they cut the whole scene. So if you watch the movie, you won't be able to see me or any of the people that went there. But if you get the extended deleted scenes, you'll see me right there.
Oh really?
Yes, they pay me very good. But they pay us very good, everybody. Yeah. And that's when I said, I want to be here. Unfortunately, because they cut my scene, I didn't get any royalties. But the people that were on camera, they got royalties for life. $20,000, $10,000, $5,000. It's just like that.
It's crazy. That's a crazy thing people don't understand about this business. Even that you were there present, you shot your scene, you didn't get all the benefits, and I hate that, right? Because that was your first project. It must have felt like, oh my God, like who am I gonna tell this about? Because nobody's gonna believe me. But you actually did it.
So I told my mom to go see the movie. I paid the movie, and my mom was like, I didn't see you. And I'm like, Mom, are you sure you didn't blink? It was bad, but it was good because it humbled me. It humbled me in a good way, because when you start getting into this big projects with big celebrities, fame can get you, or intrusive thoughts can get you into making you believe that you are all that. And I'm glad that happened, because it really put me in a perspective and say, you know what, this can happen to anyone. So I enjoy it so much. I will never forget that experience.
It happened to me too. When I did my first movie, which was Plane, with Gerard Butler, right? Like I even learned Arabic for one of the scenes. And they cut many scenes. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I made it. I made it to the screen and blah blah blah. But I did so many other things that I wish people would have seen. Because those are the things that people don't know about, right? Like, you get ready for something and then you're like, oops, sorry, you're cut out. But that's a normality in this business.
It's a normality. You have to accept it.
You have to accept it, and people don't talk about that.
That's why I don't say anything after I film. I don't say anything until I see it on the screen. If I
Right.
see it on the screen, that's it. I let people tell me, but now anymore.
Right, like that's it, you don't talk about it.
Yeah, you
uh
know.
Tony, so you've been doing a lot of, in these years, but there's something that you've been doing for a longer time, which is voice acting, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that process of jumping to voice acting? I mean, you were doing commercials for a long time, so I must believe that that's how you started, right?
Yes, I started doing commercials for all kinds of stuff. Thanks to my connections to some engineers, I was able to get gigs here and there. For example, I was the type of guy that always came to the studio, say hi to everybody, bring coffee to everybody, even though I don't know people. But that gave me the opportunity. One guy called me and said, "Hey, Red Bull is looking for a voice. Can I put you in contact with him?" So I was the voice for Red Bull for like 5 years. I
Wow.
was the voice for Coors Light for also for like 5 years. Total accident, by the way. Get that. And then I was the voice for Lucky Charms. I'm the voice for T-Mobile. So the reason I got into this is because I worked for a radio station and I needed my clients to have like a presence on radio. So I had to build my own studio. So I had my studio uh, for many years, uh, and I was able to have a bank of voices available for whenever they wanted. For example, if you wanted a commercial with a specific accent, I have a character for that. So I started doing that. So I have my announcer voice, I have my regular voice, so I had to put names on these voices
Yeah.
so I can get money over them. Because think about this, my voice, it's my business. So I had to make sure that it's always good, it's always delivering the intonation, and that's how I get a lot of gigs for Georgia Natural Gas, AT&T. But then times change, man. Now with the AI, the voiceover work is dying slowly. Not
Wow.
yet, but it's dying
Yeah.
slowly. Now you can put type whatever you want, and you can have 20 voices to choose from.
You can never exchange the human nature for a robot, no matter how good it sounds, how good it looks. Like I'd say the human part of it, you cannot change it. Like nobody can
Yeah,
copy that, no matter
yeah,
what,
no.
no matter how much you do it.
But it's
And
too
I
goddamn
yeah.
damn close, man. It's so good. There's a guy that always appears on the internet on TikTok videos. And the guy has a voice like that. It's very strong. It's very there. I don't know. You probably hear it.
Probably.
Let me tell you about this, and it's very good. And I'm like, it's so good, it's so good.
Oh my God.
But
So, yeah, no, that's the hard part. We gotta keep. I guess we gotta keep fighting for us not to get replaced. As much as we can. But we know that it's the hard part to understand, man. Like the technology comes, it doesn't leave, right? Like it's just gonna keep
yeah,
evolving and getting better and better and better.
yeah, man. But I think creativity is what is gonna help us thrive. And you have a lot of creativity, so I think content creators is the new era. I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
We need to find what do we do best and stick to it and do it right and show
And do it
people
right, yeah.
what we have.
And yeah, showcase ourselves. There's no other way, and I think you're the perfect example of like you never stayed only as an actor. You evolved. You made your own projects. You
Yeah.
made your own opportunities. And a lot of actors just like to sit down and just wait for an audition and just do that. And I do believe that's the wrong way to do it, because we are always with told that when you're an actor, you're gonna become famous and everything's gonna be red carpet and money, and that's and fame, and that's the wrong part of it. That's the wrong side of it. Like only 5% of the people make it that way. But then there's people like you who've been working in this industry for years, and you are someone that I look up to, and you're someone that I say, oh my God, you made it. Like that's it. That's the life of an actor. You made your own projects, you do your own stuff, you're constantly working, and you have a roof over you, and you're happy, and that's what we need to look up to when we're actors, and I hope everybody takes that in.
Correct. And you said something very important. Is the key is to constantly be moving. You cannot expect to be always between 25 and 35. So you're never gonna get those roles
Yeah.
if you don't know how to manage around them. Another thing is that if you don't have a purpose with your acting career, then you will be just another person who wants to be famous on camera. As a Latinos, we have a purpose. I think that's what I think. As a Latinos, we have the purpose to educate, to honor, to showcase the Hispanic or the Latin American culture. This is our job to make us look good, to make us look better, so that we can evolve as a community. Because if you were just doing this because you want to be famous and rich, you're not going to go anywhere. That's the biggest mistake. A lot of actors, like you say, you pointed very well. If you're doing it because you wanna be famous, it's not. What's the purpose of it?
Yeah.
That's why I always constantly moving to see how much I get benefit for my community, how much I change. For example, you made me happy because you look up to me, and I'm happy that I can be a good
Yeah.
role model for you and for everybody that follows me. And through these interviews, get to know a little bit more about me. That's the main effort. If everybody could help each other out and do what you're doing, putting us all together and learn, and the world would be different, to be honest.
Yeah. No, you said it right, and that's a beautiful advice because we don't know it, but as Latinos, we in this industry, we have a we have big shoes to fill. We have a big an important thing to do, which is to tell the next generation that we're here, and they can also do it. Because when I was growing up, I never saw myself represented on screen like I do now. Thankfully today we can see that even a little bit more. Obviously we're still not there, but we play an important part as Latinos in this industry. And like you said, like, we gotta get together. There's no other way. We gotta help each other out. We gotta highlight each other. If we're like, oh, I know this Latino, and hire them, blah blah blah, that's it. And get together and stop, because being Latinos is a double, it has a double sword edge. Because sometimes I hear other Latinos say, oh, because that person is not from my same country or doesn't have the same background, I don't support them. I only support my Latinos, meaning my country. And that's also like a hard thing to swallow sometimes, because like, wait, like, we're all here to help each other out. We're all here to educate people, because it's also important to let people know that you're Mexican and Puerto Rican. We have different backgrounds, different culture, but at the end of the day, we help each other out. We speak the same language, and we work together to create something and tell more stories.
That's right. That's right. That's the only way to see it. We have
Yeah.
this responsibility. We have to, even though we're not the same, like you said, but we share something very common, which is humans, and we need to help each other out. We need to.
Yes.
We need to. We know there's no other way.
Yes. So Tony, you have a couple movies out there right now. Where can people see them? Can you tell us a little bit about the movies that you have out there? And you have Blind Trust right now, which you produced, and you also directed it, right? You also directed Blind Trust, the
No,
movie, right?
no. The Blind Trust movie was directed by Fernando Arrioja, a
Oh,
Mexican citizen that was living in Canada by the time. That was the first movie that Eugenio Sealer did. We were
wow.
very grateful to have him over. The movie is already on any platforms called Blind Trust. But now something very funny happened. Uh, we wanted to tell the story in a longer format, so we are building a platform for a TV series called El Abogado del Cartel, which is Blind Trust number 2.0, if you wish, where we will be happy to have you to play the role of the kingpin. But it's a very
Yes.
tedious process. It takes a lot of money to get this to get where we are. But you always hear these stories. People say, "Oh my God, it took me 10 years to get this. It took me
Yes.
6 years. It took me this." I believe it because it's so difficult. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and we're gonna make a big impact on the Hispanic community here in Atlanta and the Southeast. And we're gonna continue working. If it's not here, it's in Mexico. But we're gonna continue.
Amen. And for people out there, who are looking to tell a story, reach out to Tony, and
Yeah.
let's make this happen, because I know how hard you guys have worked. to do this, and we shot the proof of concept, which was an amazing experience to film with everybody, and to see that the project coming alive. Like, you guys have a great vision. Guys have a direct vision of what you guys want, and you guys delivered, in the proof of concept. And I'm excited for people to get to know more about the project, and and I, like you said, like putting up a show is not easy. There's a lot of processes that happen behind.
And there's a lot of money. Not everybody wants to spend $7-10 million. It's so difficult. But we won't quit, because we don't lose if you don't feel that we're quitting.
Yeah.
That's why we don't feel like we're losing, because we're not quitting.
Exactly.
I don't care how much time it's gonna take me, but we're gonna get there.
But you got it. You're in the process of that, and you're not quitting, like you said. You got it, and that's the important part of this process. And people need to understand that and see this more. You don't do a movie in a year. It takes years.
Yeah. The Sound of Freedom, for example, that movie that is very popular. It took about 10 years from the beginning.
Wow.
Can you believe it? 10 years.
Yeah. Jesus.
Deadpool is one of the examples. 15 years, Deadpool.
It's crazy.
Nobody wanted to buy it. Nobody wanted to buy a Deadpool story.
And look at it now. Look at it now. Like, it's the first R-rated movie that surpassed $1 billion. It's just crazy.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you this. There were things in the past that would not fit in the narrative of the now. For example, when do you thought that the government was gonna come and say that there are aliens that live in the oceans, for example? Those things never happened 10 years ago. Everything's happened so rapidly that I have no doubt that the project that we want to put together are going to be successful in the future, because nobody else has done them. So we're gonna get there.
We got it. Yeah, that's it. That's that's it. Okay,
Tony. In the universe.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. Okay, and I'm excited for that, and I want everybody to really follow up what you guys are doing, and you guys have an Instagram page, right? Like Blind Trust.
Yes.
Okay. So,
we're meeting with some people. We're meeting with some people at the beginning of the year, because we need to see what's going to happen with the new government. But we're very hopeful that we can do. And then we have other projects on the flight. We have 3 more projects that I will, on time, will tell you. But we have a comedy, we have a terror. So we're gonna be good. We're gonna have more proof of concept to start selling.
Yes, that's it. That's the way to do it. You're doing it, and I love that.
Yeah, we will.
Tony, we are gonna have we're gonna have something real quick now. It's called it's a game that I like to bring, and for people to get to know more about the Latinos. It's called Roulette time, and I'm gonna spin the wheel, and depending the topic that you get, there's a question for it, okay? And you're gonna answer it. If you know it, you know. If you don't, you don't.
Rapid fire?
Yeah, and I'm gonna spin it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and we're gonna spin it, and we're gonna see what topic you get. Oh, you got history. Okay, so the question for history is, which Puerto Rican baseball player is known for his humanitarian work and was tragically killed in a plane crash in '72?
What? That's a good question. I don't know.
Do you know the name?
Puerto Rican who died in a tragic accident on 70.
Yeah.
No, bro.
He was on his way to, I believe it was Chile, to help some people after an earthquake.
You got me, because I'm very good at history.
There it is.
But no, I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you, it's Roberto Clemente. There it is.
When I went to Puerto Rico, there's a big stadium of Roberto Clemente. and I don't remember if it's in Ponce or on the way to Ponce, but it wasn't not in San Juan. I don't remember. It was
It's in it's in Carolina. It's in Carolina. The Roberto. Bueno, there's a basketball court too. It's called Roberto Clemente Stadium there. You know, which is a and then there's a big statue of him also over there. Did you see it? Yeah, people loved him. You know.
Very mid-century, to be honest. Very not too modern, but it was nice. I really liked it. Roberto Clemente. Okay.
Roberto Clemente.
Another one. Give me another one. Another question.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you another one. Also, there's a documentary about Roberto Clemente that you gotta see. It's really nice.
Oh, really?
Okay. So the next one, yeah. So the next one is guess the song. Oh my God, guess the song. Okay.
Venga.
So, this song by Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee became the most streamed song in history after its release in 2017. Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee.
Despacito?
It became there it is. I mean, how could you forget that song?
Right. Despacito.
Like I was in London, I remember, and that song was playing everywhere. And it's like people singing about it, and like they don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah, no. My girlfriend doesn't even know what he means.
Okay, so we're gonna do the last one. Let's see what you get. Let's see what you get in the wheel.
I hope I get something. Oh,
you get entertainment. Okay. You may know this one. You should. Okay. So for entertainment, what is the name of the 2023 animated film set in Colombia that won an Oscar for Best Animated Feature?
Yeah, that would be it's a cartoon from Disney, and it's the story about this girl who has powers. It's a Colombian film.
Encanto. You got it. That's it.
Final answer.
Final answer. I love that, Tony. Thank you for that. It's just something that I like to bring, people to know more about history, and it's something fun. Okay, so
that movie, but Coco was better.
I know you would say that. I knew you would say that. Coco is a beautiful movie. Like every time I watch it, I cry, no matter how many times I've seen it.
You too? I thought I was the only one, but I always cry. Always cry.
Mama Coco, it's just like she's so close to my heart. Okay, so Tony, can you tell us what's next? What's next? You were talking about, you're sitting down with people, next projects. What's next? What's next for you?
So as you know, or maybe you don't know, I'm gonna tell you. I study communications and marketing. That's my forte. Right now, I'm doing content for social media for a couple of companies, and I am very close to close a deal about his stories about Latinos, and make them in a Netflix format. I'm gonna start with Atlanta. It's been for 2 years, and finally, the person that because these projects need money, and finally the person that I pitched this project to is realizing that he needs to do this. So hopefully for the new year, I'm gonna start with this project. I already have a pilot for it. It's called Latino, but directed by Ernesto Santisteban and produced by me. Talks about stories of the successful stories of people here in Atlanta. The other project I have, it has to be this year, is El Abogado del Cartel. It's coming. Hopefully by the time, by the mid of next year, we can start rolling. And also we have, so I have my radio station. I don't know if you know this. I have a little radio station. It's called Plaza Fiesta Radio. I sell that product there. So I try to keep myself busy doing a lot of things. And hopefully I try to keep a balance between my family and my dogs and my work. So I'm at the point in my life where I can do what I love to do, not necessarily to be rich, just to have a comfortable life, a simple life. That's my goal in life.
Exactly.
Just to live comfortable. I don't want to be rich. I don't want to live in a big house. Honestly, I don't. I just want to be happy, take my shoes off, play with my dogs, eat some tacos,
Mm.
be able to go to the beach, be able to have people over. I don't know. That's simple things in life, man.
Simple things in life that sometimes we take for granted, you know, and when we're in this business, we forget about them because we're so focused in the work, right? And like constantly dealing to like audition and get the next job and then get the next job, and we forget about this beautiful things that we have already, you know, and that's beautiful. Well, Tony, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your story. Also, where can people find you on socials, please?
Oh, super easy. Actor Tony.
Actor
Actor
Tony.
Tony.
That's it.
Actor Tony.
That's it. Actor Tony. That's it, guys. So Tony, before we leave, can you tell something? Can you tell like something to the new generation of creators who are out there who are maybe afraid of trying it out or like doing that first step?
You know what? In life, you will discover new things every other year, every 2 years, in different aspect, in the professional aspect and also in the emotional aspect. My recommendation to everybody that wants to start in this industry or any other industry
Mm-hmm.
is as follows. Number one, the number one advice that I will tell people is if it's in your heart, if it's exciting for you, if it makes you move, wake up and dream, that's what it is. You don't gonna feel like you're working for the rest of your life if you do what you like to do. So the first thing you need to know is this for me? Is this warms my heart? I know I have to pay bills. I know how to pay the mortgage. I know how to pay the car. But is this what I want to do? If you feel it in your heart, number two, you have to believe it. Believe it that you will make it. No matter, you're not going to make it tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, but you have to believe it that you will one day. As long as you get focused and in tune with who you are, with true who you are. Number one, wanted to do it. Number two, believe to do it. And number three, and the most important thing is action. You can be the one actor that you want to become, but if you don't move a finger, if you don't get up in the morning and start working on your headshots, if you don't look on your wardrobe, if you don't start researching what do you need to do in terms of having a demo or anything, it's not going to happen. So that's the other step. Believe with your heart, do action, and then be patient. Number three, be patient. Trust the process. Trust about it. It's the most difficult part. If you feel like you're quitting because nobody knock on your door, nobody gives you enough, do not worry. That doesn't define who you are. Stay true, because the moment you stay true and you start relaxing, believing in yourself, things are going to come to you. Remember, the swords are built first by putting them on fire. And then when you put them on the water, that's when they get template and they get stored. So never give up, man. Never give up. I would never give up of the things that are happening. Sometimes you're not gonna live the way you want to live, but you know what? You're doing what you want. Look at us, Angel. We're sitting here on Monday,
Yeah.
having a good time. You know, people love us. People love you, and you know what?
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need people that have a tune with mind and heart, helping each other out. If you are going for the wrong reason, I just give you the 5 things that you need to get into this industry. Because you go with the industry thinking, oh, you're gonna be super TikTok famous, or you're gonna be the most recognizable person, or you're gonna have a lot of girls, you're gonna have a lot of guys, you're gonna have a lot of this, you're gonna have a lot of that. Thinking that way, you're gonna burn yourself. You're gonna be unhappy, because the universe might give you that, but they're gonna burn you. People will hate traveling, get up in the morning because you need to travel to Dallas, then you have to walk and go to Chicago, and then you have to go and film in Las Vegas, and you're never gonna have a happiness, because people think that artists and big stars having a great life. The reality is not. They cannot go even into the streets because paparazzi follow them. They don't know what to do with so much money, for example. So if God and the universe gives you whatever you have right now, enjoy, be grateful, and do something with your talent for other people. Something good. in this case, I'm just trying to do best for my community.
Yes,
To have, to
I
have,
love that.
I have
Yeah, no,
a
that.
purpose.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It finding your purpose, and you found yours, and I wish that for everybody, to find their purpose in this business, and to have that something that drives you. You know. Thank you for that, Tony. Thank you for these amazing conversations. There's so many things, so much knowledge that you have, and it's so beautiful to hear you talk about that and talk about your experiences, and talk about your journey. And yes, and this is the goal of this podcast, is basically hearing your stories, hearing your process, and for everybody to understand that it's not easy to be here, but we're happy, to be here and to do what we do. And I thank you for that. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Lights Camera Latino, the podcast. Remember to follow us on our socials: Lights Camera Latino, actor Tony, Angel Fabian Rivera, and we'll see more of you there. And I always like to end up this with this message, and it says, when life knocks you down, levántate con más fuerza, keep fighting. Hasta la
I love
próxima.
that.
Yes.
I
Thank
love
you so
that.
much, Tony.
Can't wait to see you again, my friend.